Good morning. How's everybody today? I hope everybody's having fun. The weekends are great for you guys, and you haven't had a lot of problems in your rental business, if that's what you choose to do. Just want to go over a couple things today. I've gotten some calls, had a very lengthy conversation with a gentleman yesterday in regards to a tenant who's not paying rent and what you should do if that is the case. He's let the guy go on for a long time, and now now the tenant owes thousands of dollars in back rent. Wasn't the owner was doing anything wrong. Owners got suckered into being kind and courteous to that person. It's happened to all of us. We hear a sob story, we want to be helpful, and next thing you know, we're taken to the cleaners. Well, in that process, there's a notice that needs to be delivered to the tenant who hasn't paid the rent. And the sooner you deliver the notice, the better it are, and quicker you've started down the process of removing the tenant from the property. That notice is called a 5-day notice to rent or quit. Sometimes a 5-day notice, whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. But you have to give that notice to the tenant prior to being able to evict them for non-payment of rent, and give them an opportunity to pay the rent along with all fees and dues that are available per your lease that have to be paid. In that lease, it should indicate they haven't paid rent, the amount of rent that's due, late fees, any other fees you have applicable in your lease. If you do not have in your lease late fees, you do not have notice fees, court costs covered, you cannot bill the tenant for those things. And if you go to court and not in the lease, the judge will kick him out. The const will kick him out, just the peace will. With that being said, it's important to break these things out and get this notice served as soon as possible to get the clock running. Now, you may decide that at the end of 5 days you're going to give them a couple extra days. That's fine and dandy. Or they come and bring in half the rent. That's fine and dandy. No problem with that. But if you do that, one thing you need to do is to make sure that if you take any kind of rent whatsoever from the tenant, that you have them sign a partial payment waiver. That means you as a landlord don't waive any rights that you have under the law, and that you can pick up right where you left off, proceed after taking partial payment of rent if they do not comply with the terms established that you've agreed to. 5-day notice must be delivered. If you do not deliver it, sorry, you can't evict for non-payment of rent. Now let's say that you've given a 5-day notice. The tenant's called you up and said, I'm going to come in and pay X number of dollars. Do that, like I said before, have them sign a partial payment waiver so that you as a landlord do not waive any of your rights. Other things that I've seen occur because landlords haven't given that notice, partial payment waiver, they cannot evict for that cause of non-payment of rent for that month. You have to wait till next month, issue a new 5-day notice for non-payment of rent, and evict on that cause then. That doesn't mean you can't evict for another cause during the month, but you can evict for non-payment of rent because you have accepted payment, and that's just the way that it is. Now, there'll be landlords those who try to get around that, and that's okay. That does happen. If the tenant doesn't show up in court, doesn't question it, you may get away with it. With the tenant who hasn't paid rent, you need to make sure that you're checking up with them, you're following them. Service of the 5-day notice to pay rent. Let's say that is very important. You have to deliver that 5-day notice. It does not have to be signed for, but it has to be delivered. They have to accept it. If they open the door, you give the notice, they take it from you, they've accepted notice, they've accepted service of that notice. If they go to court and they say they never got it, you may have to be willing to testify in court that you did deliver it and whom you delivered it to. That way, it's always a good idea. If you take and you give a notice to somebody, you have them sign for it. If they don't sign for it, right there on the spot, you write down who you gave it to, what time it was, what they look like, approximate height, weight, color, eyes, those kind of things that you put on the notice. That way there's no disputing. That's the same things that the process server would do if he is serving a notice on somebody. Now, that notice of service of 5 days to pay rent or quit, you can't give it to an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old. You may be questionable giving it to a 14 or 16-year-old. However, it can be done to someone who's of age, a 16-year-old, who knows it's there, and they can sign for it. They can give it to their parent. However, I always choose to make sure I give it to an adult who's at the property. It has to be someone who's living there. If not, you could be questioned in court as well too. Well, what do you have to notify notice has been delivered? Well, then you just sit and wait for the 5 days. At the end of the 5 days, if they have not paid your rent, your next option, my frankly, thing is to contact them, find whether they're going to pay rent or not. If they're going to pay rent, maybe you want to give them a couple extra days. That's up to you. However, I choose to go ahead and say, look, that's fine. I understand you'll be paying rent here in the next day, 2 days. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the process now with the attorney. Give them the 5-day notice, give a copy of the lease, and they can file with the court. I said, but the reason I'm doing that is not that I don't trust you, it's just to make sure that you comply with your word is. If they go through the process and they come in and pay, that's fine. There's a cancellation fee they'll have to pay to cancel it at that point in time, but that's a tenant's responsibility for having showed up late with the rent. So that's 5-day notices in a nutshell. Have more questions, please give me a call, 480-699-9959. I'll be happy to talk to you. Again, it's Matt. Have a great day.